Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to another Arc Garage video. Today we're going to talk about 11 things that could increase the fuel consumption on your car and how you can fix them. We're going to start with an oxygen sensor. It is the most important thing when it comes to air-fuel ratio, and if you are not getting any codes for open circuit, there's a big chance that you can clean it. As I said before, oxygen sensor is one of the most important when it comes to air-fuel ratio, and a bad one can cause excessive fuel consumption. The sensor is actually located inside this metal housing, so I'm just gonna use the stream from spray to clean it. Here's how much dirt I got off just using that spray, but I gotta say again, this method will only work if you are not getting any open circuit codes. If you are, the only thing you can do is to replace it. Next we got the fuel injectors. If they are leaky or clogged, they can cause a poor combustion, and that can result in excessive fuel use. Now to clean the injectors, I'm just gonna grab two wires and connect them on two terminals of the fuel injector. The other end of the wires are gonna be connected to the battery positive and the battery negative. Now I'm gonna grab this little straw, put it right here, and I'm gonna clean it with a carb cleaner. Now if you are driving a diesel, you won't be able to clean your injectors like this. You're gonna have to send them to a specialty shop. Moving on to a dirty air filter. Now air filter replacement is a part of the small service, and it should be replaced regularly. You can even do it yourself and save a little bit of money. When it comes to the cost, they only cost maybe like 10-20 euros. Failure to replace air filter can cost you a lot in the long run. As you can see, this air filter is not too bad. I could have just put it back in the car, but I'm gonna replace it anyway. Now extremely dirty air filter is gonna obstruct the airflow to the engine, and that's gonna cost you through the fuel consumption. It can actually impact your mileage by as much as 10%. Next on the list we got spark plugs and coils. Now if some of these components do not operate properly, we're gonna have incomplete combustion. That's gonna cause the increased fuel consumption, but not only that, you can also experience the misfire and poor engine performance. That's why it's always important to replace your spark plugs on time. Moving on to another sensor which plays a huge role when it comes to air-fuel ratio, and that's going to be the MAP sensor. You can see that this one is quite dirty, and when that happens, the sensor itself has trouble measuring the proper pressure inside the intake manifold. Now to clean the sensor, you gotta get a cleaner which is intended just for that. I got this little spray from Liqui Moly. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm basically just gonna spray the sensor here. Again, I'm not gonna use any tools or anything like that. I'm just gonna use the stream from the spray to clean off this dirt and grease. After that, I'm gonna leave the sensor to dry off for maybe like 10 minutes. Alright, and that is basically it. Next we got the throttle body. Now as you can see, this one is not too bad. There is a little bit of dirt, but nothing too major. Now a dirty throttle body can cause a variety of issues, including engine idle performance and of course increased fuel consumption. Now to do this little job, I'm again gonna use a carb cleaner. I'm gonna spray everything good. Now to remove the rest of the dirt, I'm just gonna use some paper towels. Next in line is the last sensor in today's video, and that's gonna be the mass airflow sensor. This particular mass airflow sensor measures the amount of air that comes into the engine as well as its temperature. As it plays a major role in the engine combustion, when it gets dirty it can have the huge impact on the engine performance. As pretty much anything that can affect the engine combustion process, this sensor can also have a huge impact on the fuel consumption, and to clean it again I'm going to use a Liqui Moly sensor cleaner. As before, I'm just going to use the stream from the spray to clean the sensor off. I'm not going to use any tools to try to physically get the dirt off. While these sensors do get dirty over time, there is still one thing that you should never do. You should never install those oily high flow air filters. They really mess these sensors up. Now we're going to talk about diesel cars and DPF regeneration. During the DPF regeneration process, the engine ECU sends more fuel to the combustion chamber. That results in higher exhaust gases, which then burn the soot off of the DPF filter. While the DPF regen does burn more fuel when it's done to the completion, it's not really the problem. The problem is when you are constantly getting the incomplete DPF regeneration. This is where the fuel consumption should be the least of your worries. I've seen the cases where the fuel would mix with oil and the oil would show up all the way on the middle of the dipstick. Now, to solve this problem, all you gotta do is take your car on the highway and drive it for maybe like half an hour so the DPF regen can be done. Next, we got bigger wheels and tires. If your car is equipped with a larger diameter wheels, you gotta know that you are hauling around more weight. The wheels here are not the problem, these are quite light, but in combination with tires, they do weigh a lot. With bigger wheels and tires, you are also getting more traction, and all of that combined is going to result in increased fuel consumption. So if fuel economy is your main concern, you might want to consider smaller wheels. Moving on to one thing which a lot of drivers overlook, and that is the low tire pressure. You can see that this tire is a bit low, and when you got the low tire pressure in all of your tires, that can affect your fuel economy greatly. Now I'm gonna measure the tire pressure here. I don't know how well can you see it, but it was at 1 bar. I usually keep my front tires at 2.6 bars, but you got the right number in your owner's manual. Low pressure in tires is a safety concern, but it can also increase your fuel consumption by as much as 20%. Next, we got aggressive driving. If you like to step on the gas frequently, keep in mind that this driving behavior can cost you a lot. Your driving habits can actually save you a lot of money, and I'm just gonna give you a couple of tips. The first one would be to accelerate gently. The second one would be to shift a bit early. Third one is to keep as much distance as possible from the cars in front of you, so you can anticipate their next move and brake as little as possible. So those were 11 things that could cause the increased fuel consumption. If you got any more suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Anyway, that would be all for this video. I hope you find it useful. If you did, hit that like button and support our channel by subscribing and by sharing our content with the rest of car enthusiasts.